I remember growing up in my little village called Afanya. We would see airplanes fly by maybe twice a year. One day I was on the compound with my dad, looking at one of the airplanes flying over, and I asked him, "Dad, what is that?" And he's like, "Those are airplanes, and people travel on them to go to places. When can we get a chance to get on one, to take a ride?" And he's like, "That's not for us. We barely afford food." So that's something you just need to forget about. That didn't sit right with me, Rob. There's no way, we've got to be where we are forever. And ever since then, that was one of my drive in life, to be able to afford to visit the United States someday.
Where are you from?
I was born in Togo, grew up in Togo before I moved to the United States a couple of years ago.
So you were born and raised there?
Yeah, I completed my civil engineering degree there, worked there, started my own business there for about 8 years.
What started that creativity for you?
Growing up, we didn't have the opportunity to have brand new clothes. So when we get used clothes, someone in the neighborhood donate their clothes to us, I didn't want to go out and the other kids say, "Oh, that's my shirt you're wearing." So I would transform my clothes, throwing some paint on them, just make them feel personal in a way that when you see it, you ask me, "Where did you get that t-shirt?" Yeah.
I think one of the key factors to your continued success is that from an early age, you started really paying attention to what are the consumers looking for, what do people like about the clothing that they're wearing, even going back to when you were altering secondhand clothes. To the extent that you put yourself through college, you get into engineering school, and tell me more about your transition to getting the opportunity to come to the United States.
There is this program called the Diversity Visa Program that gives to countries that don't have the opportunity to get a green card.
So it's a lottery system that you can
It's a lottery system that you apply for online. Over 80,000 people all over the world applied that year. 86, I think,
people.
1,000 people. Then I went on my computer, and to my biggest surprise ever, congratulations, you've been randomly selected. People thought I was crazy because I was doing well. I had my own company, was growing my business, and I wanted to turn around and leave all that behind and go to a country we barely speak the language.
Right.
But with the support of my beautiful wife, I was confident as long as she was 100% with me. As a startup, it took me 5 years to get to a sustainable level with my business back in Togo.
5 years?
5 years.
Right.
It took me less than 5 months in the United States to do the same.
There's so much opportunity within this country. So dooko, that's an interesting name. Tell me about the origin. How did you come up with the name of dooko?
This ancient Greek word that looks like dooko, but backward. And that means improvement. I took that word, put it on my desk and started thinking about it. I flipped it around, threw in an extra O in there and came up with dooko.
Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the products. The very first time that I met you, you were so gracious and you presented me with a hat. And I was fascinated by even just the packaging. I mean, even the packaging is a delight. And reminiscent of like what you might find with an Apple product. I mean, this is really something.
You know, Rob, when you serve from your heart, you want to show that. This is my way to tell people how much love I put in my work. The first second they see the product, I want my product to stand out.
I believe firmly that any product or service that you provide to a consumer, you have to, at your core, be fanatical about serving your client.
True.
And this
Yeah.
is just such an excellent example.
Thank you.
Another product that you
Thank you.
have that, yeah, you're welcome. It's really exciting. No, give me these. These are mine.
The biggest challenge for me as a designer, I think, is to be able to know what the customer needs. You know, it's great to design great shoes, but do people really want them? Are those shoes really going to serve them well?
Right.
And that's, I think, my major challenge, to make something that people would actually enjoy using. And when you get into that mindset, the customer becomes your boss. They tell you what they want, and you just serve them. People love the Sempre Supras.
Yep, that's what these are called, the Sempre Supras. There's a couple of different...
Did you know Sempre Supra means always above?
Always above.
Yeah.
So it's consistent with your moving forward.
Yes.
The thing I think that I love the most about your brand is the emotional attachment it has to moving forward, to rising above. I believe that we were created with gifts.
Absolutely.
And I firmly believe that it is incumbent upon us to seek out and to develop and to nurture those gifts and to share those gifts. And I think that that's what our mission is on this planet. Kofi, thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely, Rob.
Your
My
story
pleasure.
is so fascinating and compelling. I really appreciate you being here. For our viewers, I want to make sure that our viewers know how to find your product. It's dookoware.com, DOOKOWEAR.com. Now, Kofi's grinning at me because in all 7 of his languages, he spells better than I do. So so
dookoware.com.
dookoware.com, make sure.
We are on Instagram. We are pretty active on social media.
Well, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me, Rob. It was
All
a
right.
blast.
It was a blast.